I'll call the March 18th, 2024 Triton School Board meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Recognition of visitors, open forum.
Terry Campbell with the Messenger has requested to speak. He lives in the district.
Yeah, I've lived here all my life. I went to West Concord School. My daughters went to Triton, the neighbor here. In order to save time, I have it printed out, everything I was going through here, so I'll just give a summary of it. So it doesn't take as much of your time. I'm here because there's been a number of editorials and news printed in the Dodge County Independent that are erroneous and outright false. And we would like to address these here. Claiming we are not a legal paper. 2 years ago, we were asked by the City of Dodge Center to become a legal paper. We investigated and found out what it would take to become one, and we went through the work to become it. We had to publish twice a month for a year. We started that in June of 2022, and in June of 2023, we were a legal paper. We started publishing it. There's a number of things that they have brought out there that are just patently untrue. The first one is that we were not publishing twice a month. Right here, I have all of the postal reports that go to the post office each month for each issue. I'll leave those with you. I also have printed out the face copy of every single paper in the last 18 months. And I'll leave those for you too to go through at later time. They also stated that we did not publish a legal notice in August. It had an August 25th deadline. We have a copy here that I will leave with you. It's August 2nd. The publication is posted right here, 3 weeks prior to when it had to be posted or when it was fulfilled. So that one is false as well. They keep coming up with us these decisions or opinions by attorneys. We have been certified by the state of Minnesota as a legal newspaper. Anything that would contradict with that would have to go before a judge. You can't just print something in a newspaper and try to sway public opinion by repeating lies. Regardless, it works, but it's not legal. It's not right. So if somebody disagrees with the statute, they must get a declaratory judgment, go to court, do that. They can't just print stuff in the paper until they convince everybody. So anyway, I've got the proof here that we did publish on time. The one thing that bothered me was there was a number of attorneys that looked at this and they kind of went round in circles on all these issues. And they tried to pick us apart, but they never checked to see if the Dodge County Independent was following the same rules we were. When we started to check this out, we discovered there were some discrepancies. First one is, in order to be a legal newspaper, you have to be a business good standing. In order to be a business good standing, you have to have an assumed name published with the state of Minnesota, and you have to renew it every year. And we did some investigations. We found out the Dodge County Independent has never done this. Since 2014, they have never once filed with the state of Minnesota. Their assumed name had elapsed, and so they were not in compliance. According to this, they would have to go through and file and publish their paper for 1 year to become a legal newspaper again. We are in the process of filing the complaints on this. So for all this time, we have been accused of not being a legal newspaper. For the record, I say we are, and the one that makes the accusations against us is not. So I will leave this with you, Craig. That's the pages that were in question. These are the cover sheets of all of them, and these are all the postal statements. All of this is also given to the county, the Dodge County, to this too. So,
Larry,
yes,
what statute are you
statute.
getting that? Do you have the statute number there?
I have that, Jim.
Okay,
I can get it to you.
Well.
331 something.
333.01 section is
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you have other questions, you can contact us, we can give you everything else. But the overview there kind of covers everything that we wanted to say. That,
Right.
any questions you have? Okay. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you,
We
Terry.
appreciate your time. We enjoy working with you. We've enjoyed a real good working relationship with the school, publishing the Times for all this time, and we cover every single home in Claremont, Dodge Center, and West Concord, 3,400 homes every month. So I think we cover you better than anybody else can. So, thank you for your
Thank you,
time.
Gary.
We'll talk to you later.
Did you have any other requests?
No, that was it.
Move on to number 4, approve agenda.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. Motion by Dwayne, second by Rebecca. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Do a roll call vote?
Oh, we do have to do a roll call vote. Brian Ginder is attending virtually. Dwayne,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lloyd,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Rebecca. Yes. Myself, yes. Moving on to Cobra Pride.
I'm gonna kind of skip over this week because there's a number of things that the principals and activities directors want to share. Our BPA had an amazing weekend again,
Yes, they did.
and some really great things to share there. But also some of the things that happened with our band and choir with their solo and ensemble content. So rather than repeating it, I'm gonna let them take the stage on that.
Approve consent agenda.
I'll move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Jim, second by Lloyd. Any discussion? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. Dwayne,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lloyd,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Rebecca. Yes. And myself, yes. New business. 7.1.
All right, we have a number of termination non-renewals. Just one thing to remember, most of these are things that we have to have in the agenda or in our minutes. And then in order to be able to renew them, we have to post them. Because if they're a license permission type thing, so even though that most of these folks are coming back, we still have to go through the process, and all of these people have been talked to, so they know that this is on the agenda. But we have to do them one by one too.
So 7.1 is discuss approve resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of Olivia Zwaska, a probationary teacher. I so move.
Second.
Motion by Rebecca, second by Jim.
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lloyd,
Aye.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim. Rebecca, yes. And Wendy, yes. Okay. 7.2, discuss approve resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of Anthony Bendixson, a probationary teacher.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Jim, second by Dwayne.
Dale.
Dale, sorry. Take a roll call vote. Dwayne, Dwayne,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lloyd,
Aye.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Rebecca. Yes. Myself, yes. 7.3, discuss approve resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of Gareth John Hager, a probationary teacher.
So moved.
I'll second. Motion by Dwayne, second by Rebecca. We'll do a roll call vote. Dwayne,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lloyd,
Aye. Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Rebecca. Yes. And myself, yes. 7.4, discuss approve resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of Katie Nold, a probationary teacher.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Lloyd, second by Jim. Roll call vote, Dwayne,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lloyd,
Aye.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Rebecca. Yes. And Wendy, yes. 7.5, discuss approve resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of Brian McCabe, a probationary teacher.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Jim, second by Lloyd. Roll call vote, Dwayne,
Yes.
Brian,
yes,
Lloyd,
Aye.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Rebecca. Yes. And Wendy, yes. 7.6, discuss approved resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of Ellie Seward, a probationary teacher.
Second.
Motion by Rebecca, second by Jim. Roll call vote, Dwayne,
Yes.
Brian,
yes,
Lloyd,
Aye.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Rebecca. Yes. And myself, yes. 7.7, discuss approved resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of Lisa Chickus, a probationary teacher.
Second.
Motion by Lloyd, second by Dale. Roll call vote, Dwayne,
Yes.
Brian,
yes,
Lloyd,
Aye.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Rebecca. Yes. Myself, yes. 7.8, discuss approved resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of Jill Luderman, a probationary teacher.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dwayne,
Yes.
second by Jim. Roll call vote. Brian,
yes,
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Lloyd,
Aye.
Jim,
Yes.
Rebecca. Yes. And Wendy, yes. And 7.9, discuss approved resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of Adam Anderson, a probationary teacher.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Jim, second by Lloyd. Roll call vote, Dwayne,
Yes.
Brian,
yes,
Lloyd,
Aye.
Dale,
Yeah.
Jim,
Yes.
Rebecca. Yes. And Wendy, yes. 7.10, discuss approve the 2023-2024 revised budget.
So Amy's here to go through the revised budget.
Yes. Try and just run through this kind of really quick, nothing crazy, so which is good. So we'll start out with enrollment, so I guess. We did start out the preliminary budget at an enrollment of 984, and we did reduce the revised budget down to 925, because that reflects. Really a more conservative, more actual number where we're at. So what that kind of does mean is it was a reduction of revenue of about 400,000 in state aid. But move on to the next slide, it does kind of show you, we still are up. In revenue overall, I gotta fix this slide.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, it's okay. That means like I'll come up by the same time. So we are still up because we've got the 4% increase in overall state aid. We did see an increase in special ed subsidy. And that was probably about 500,000, so that helps a lot. And then we're also getting new funding in some support personnel aid and some library support personnel aid, so. And we did see an increase back out to our basic skills funds as well, so. And then just one final reminder, this is our very last year of our CARES Act funding, so we'll look at that 236 spent down this year, and that will be that. As far as we know, so nothing on the horizon for new funding on that. And then looking at the expense side, this is just kind of shows you a breakdown of how we're spending our money in the general fund. So you can see, 7.5 million just on salaries, 2.5 on benefits, and then another 1.8 on contracted services. So a lot of that is Zed, our speech therapy, different special services like that. And just looking at the next slide, this kind of just gives you a overall breakdown of the general fund. We've got, this gives you our beginning balances at July 1. What we're budgeted for revenue and expenditures for the year, and then our ending at the end of the year. So overall, we're looking at a net change of about increase of about 145,000, which is good. So, the last couple of years, we've kind of seen a little bit of a deficit, so we want to work on bringing that back up. just looking at the unassigned, which is our kind of our key pot that we want to really have that reserve in. We're bringing that up a little bit. We started the year at 4.04 and I'm hoping to end the year at 4.91. So an increase of about 177,000 on that one. So the remaining funds are all of our reserve funds that we're going to hit, use those monies up as much as we can before we touch the unassigned dollars. For staff development, we have a nice balance there and we'll look at using that. That will come in handy in the next couple of years, with the READ Act mandates. Because we'll be using that money for a lot of those purposes too. Long-term facilities maintenance, we're kind of using that as we need to. Same with operating capital, that goes to a lot of tech purchases and curriculum, things like that, that we need to really keep up on. And then learning and development, basic skills, gifted and talented, we're gonna use those up. For our needs before we touch the unassigned funds. Same with safe schools, those are a little more restricted on what we can use them for, but we're looking at different things to use those for. And then medical assistance as well. As you probably know, our needs in special education are increasing. And so we're looking to kind of use those medical assistance funds as much as we can to help out the students. And then the next slide just gives you an overview of our other funds. So we've got food service, which was free lunches this year. I think we're looking at a decent fund balance. So we're looking at doing some equipment replacement that are needed in the kitchen. Use those funds for that. Community ed, just the general fund is looking at a small decrease, but that's, that it ebbs and flows just depending on aid and enrollment, things like that. So that's nothing crucial. I'm not concerned about that. But early childhood, school readiness, adult ed, everything else is looking pretty healthy this year so far. So yeah, and debt service is just, we're paying off what our debt needs are for this year, and we get funding to cover that. And then scholarship funds are just whatever we decide to give out for scholarships this year. So it's kind of an in and out as well. Yeah, like I said, kind of quick, but
Any questions
nothing too crazy.
for Amy?
I think enrollment's obviously, it's a discussion I know you've been having, so that's one thing we need to keep an eye on.
So this is our last year for that. Yeah. Middle school.
Yes,
Correct.
yes, it is. Mhm. So that expense will go up. And at
But
least,
do we have other ones to come on?
what's that?
Then we'll have other ones to.
A little bit, yeah. Well, the lease levy money will kind of cover, well, now it'll fully cover the Z expense.
Okay.
Yep, whereas in the last couple of years, it's covered, we've had to cover about half of that out of the general fund, so yeah, that'll be a savings for sure.
Well, I heard a politician say that maybe some of the surplus, in their opinion, would go to the READ Act.
That would be nice,
I mean, nothing's a done deal yet, but that was
yeah,
their thought, that to fill in some of the stuff they mandated.
that would be helpful, yeah. I know right at this point, they're covering the cost of the companies that are providing the service, but they're not covering any of our costs to make sure that staff are able to participate in the training, so.
In last session, I believe there were 56 mandates
Yep.
that were passed, not all of those funded.
Well, that
Some
was
of
the
them, and
conversation.
some of them partially funded.
Right,
Or funded for a couple of years and then funding goes away.
On top of how many mandates that
Right.
are already there.
yeah, I think this one was unprecedented as far as
Yeah.
how much they mandated that are not covering, so, yeah, it'll be.
Well, the
it's been
comment they used, was they gave you $100, but it took $150 to cover the mandate,
Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah, I would say at least that.
And it's, yeah,
I know,
they can say a lot of stuff, but anyway,
yeah, we'll see how they follow.
it's
through.
interesting.
Yeah, it is. Hopefully.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2023-2024 revised budget.
Okay.
Motion by Rebecca, second by Jim. Any other discussion? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Dwayne,
Yes.
Brian,
Brian, you're muted.
Lloyd,
Aye.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Wendy, yes,
You're still muted.
nothing from Brian. All right.
He's trying to connect.
Easy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks, Amy.
7.11, discuss approved students to attend an overnight trip for the FFA State Convention, April 21st through 23rd.
We have a couple representatives from the FFA here.
Oh, yeah. So I was told by Mr. Strickler that he wanted us to talk about what we're going to state for. I'm going to state for Star Farmer to compete in that and also not general livestock, meat evaluation.
I will be going to state for my state degree, so I'll be able to walk the stage along with getting third in the region for dairy handling.
I'm going to go to get my state degree too, and I'm going for crops. I got second in the region.
And I'm gonna drive the bus. And supervise them and encourage them and make sure they get to everywhere they need to be. Today, our nursery landscape team placed third in the region, so they'll be heading to state. We have a younger group that's an invitational thing, Best Informed Green Hand, they'll be going to state. Caden Spearman will be interviewing here this Friday for a star in agri science, so we hope both her and John make it in the top 4. Cadence also has 2 proficiency applications. They're in the top 3 at the state, so we'll see those dates in April, whether she wins the state in one of those or not, but we are guaranteed that she will be going across the stage in both of those. So that's a huge accomplishment there. And then we've got some other kids that are going for their state degrees. And Alyssa's mom is going to come with and help chaperone. I don't think you kids have figured out another male chaperone. Help me out, have you? Okay, they're still contemplating and working on that. So, we're here tonight to see if you will approve our overnight trip. And before we get to approving, I know earlier on your agenda, you had to approve the resignation of my second aid teacher, Tiffany Hubline, and the students and I were going to miss having her. She took a spot that's a little closer to where she lives. And, all the things that she's done for our program the last 2 years, it's allowed me to be able to get that plant room up and running. If I didn't have her help with managing all these different things, I just wouldn't have had the time to allocate to that. So I want to take a moment here to let the board and administration know how much all of us appreciated her 2 years of service to our school.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jim, second by Dwayne. Do a roll call vote. Dwayne,
Yes.
Brian,
He texted me, he's having problems
Okay.
with his Wi-Fi.
Lloyd,
Aye.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
and Wendy's a yes. Thank you.
Thank
Have
you very
fun.
much.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck.
Thank you.
7.12, discuss approved students to attend an overnight trip to attend the BPA National Convention in Chicago, Illinois, May 10th through the 14th.
Rebecca couldn't be here tonight, but pretty excited about their national convention again this year coming up, so kudos to them with all their hard work and the successes that they've had. And I know talking with Mr. Black, we definitely have some more names to put on the championship wall this year, so that's always great news. Yeah, it's misnumbered on there. So I just need a motion for the VPA to be able to go on their trip.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Lloyd, second by Rebecca. Roll call vote, Dwayne,
Yes.
Brian is still having issues, Lloyd,
Aye.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
and Wendy's a yes. 7.13, discuss approved legal newspaper.
Yeah, kind of a conundrum. We have two opposing papers that are claiming the other's not legal. My recommendation would be to just do an abbreviated legal posting with both papers until we get some definitive answer from where to go from here. And I guess that would just be the simplest way to do it. That way we're posting it in both spots until we have something that says otherwise. Probably just need a motion.
I would like to table it so we have time to look over the new information that we
Okay,
received today. But
we can do that too. I would just need a motion to table it till the next meeting.
I'll move to table it.
Second,
Okay, motion by Jim, second by Dwayne, or by Dale to table. 7.13. Is there any discussion? We'll do a roll call vote. Dwayne?
Yes.
Ryan is still not connected?
no,
Okay. Lloyd?
I,
Dale?
yes.
Jim?
Yes,
Rebecca? Yes. Wendy is a yes. 7.14, discuss approved GoFan digital ticketing proposal.
yeah, Corey's here and can talk to this as well. One of the things that, as a conference, they're going to the digital ticketing. So with that happening, I just wanted to get the board approval to go to that. Along with that, the next agenda item is to increase the adult fee to $8, which they're asking that to cover the fees that it's going to cost to take care of the digital ticketing. So they'd leave the student prices the same. But the upside to this is if you ever think about a game that you're waiting in line, you can prepay or pre-buy your tickets, and then all you need to do is show your ticket and enter. Anything I'm missing, Corey?
Basically, there's just 2 clicks. So on the online ticket, if you have it pre-purchased, the ticket takers at the gate will literally click select a ticket and one other button in order to allow you for entry. So the videos that we have are incredibly fast, and I think we've selected the best company to go with that allows us to utilize our school today schedule that we already have, and is also the lowest as far as fees that they charge. So more or less what we're trying to do is be able to create alternate options that will allow us to get people into games quicker and allow us to track some data on the attendance as well.
If I'm mistaken, that doesn't this also allow for like concession purchases and those types of things?
Yeah, so basically it allows us to make purchases with debit and credit cards at the gate as well. So this isn't have to do everything on your phone. We'll still be able to go to the ticket gate and be able to use a card to purchase a ticket right there. It also gives us card readers for us to be able to use in the concession stands if we see fit as well. So there's as far as the fees and everything with the passes, it's basically $1. It's $1 fee for every ticket that's under $10, and then I believe that there's a 3% charge on anything that's over $10. But on top of that, this would allow us to be able to sell tickets to any event that we have. So that be it prom, that be it plays, musicals, graduation, things that we struggle with as far as organization with tickets. This would kind of streamline all of those together and be the only ticketing company that we need to work with, or app that we would need to work
And
with.
it doesn't eliminate the cash option,
Correct.
but we would have less
But we're raising,
concerns with cash
we raise-
boxes.
we're raising the cash option also, then.
Correct.
So we go with this, it's added a buck, or it's added a buck no matter what, or if we go with this, it adds $1. It adds $1 no matter what. No matter what.
Yeah,
And but that's also a conference decision that is likely going to be put in front of the superintendents for a vote in the upcoming meeting in May.
So like all the conference playing and stuff and all that kind of. Dates and all
and I
that.
believe the eighth,
So just our conference events.
So it
So,
doesn't go like if you want to go to the state or.
no.
I'll move to approve GoFan digital ticketing proposal.
Second,
Motion by Jim, second by Lloyd.
what, question, what would happen if the superintendents didn't approve it?
That's what I was wondering.
Then
but
then
we
we
had
wouldn't
no
go
question.
forward.
Then where does the position we take?
And
Tonight's
we would follow whatever the conference decides to do.
We don't have to buy it.
And there's no fee,
So-
there's no fee charged to the school
Is there
with
a
any
point,
purchase with this.
is there a point of waiting till after the superintendents decide?
Or do they have to have the words first to say, you know?
No, I believe that we, can bring it up to the for it to be approved by the superintendents and then have us be able to bring it back to you if you'd like to see how everybody else goes. I think the biggest thing from my side of things with this is that it, it allows us to manage the site more effectively, and when we have larger crowds, we can take some of that stress away for people to gain entry. But along with that, it gives us more options for people to be able to purchase the same item.
So this is just a scenario, but so if my grandson or whatever, can I buy it and he can?
Correct.
He has to take a phone in it or what?
You'd be able to, it wouldn't stop you from being able to hand him $5 to be able to get into the game, right? But on the second thing, you would be able to buy an adult ticket and a student ticket to be able to use at the game at one
You
time.
can transfer those
Correct.
tickets to another person.
Yep, once you purchase the tickets, you can email them to whomever you like.
Okay, so, okay.
is it, and it is based on per ticket price or total price?
For the fee, it's ticket price.
Okay,
So the only time that there would be extra fees would be for when we would have passes that would be above that $10 item. I think we're looking at a $2, I believe it was $3.75 that the prices would increase for like a season pass or the 10 punch passes that we would have.
but we could do those without online as well, correct?
Correct, we can still do those with not being online.
So the punch passes are going up too along with that.
That's for us, that's for you to decide, but for us to be able to do the online transactions, then there would be the added fees on top.
I think it'll help speed things up like at football games when we have a good crowd down there. The line goes way back out into the parking lot sometimes. So I think it would speed that process up of getting people in.
I agree.
Has there been any thought given to whether we would decrease the number of ticket takers at all at any of our home events? Like maybe not football, but any of our inside events?
I think that's kind of the next step for us to be able to see what this does for that. I think that the recommendation from you would come down to us having one ticket taker if we would move to something like this.
I'm just assuming that they probably use for this to catch on.
I would say that the Gopher conference is lacking in compared to other conferences that we'd see in the area, that a lot of them have some form of a process. I think the biggest thing for me, what this does is it allows us to be able to get our process in place without us having it be, everybody has to buy an online ticket, because that's not what this is. It's, let's get our feet wet with this so we can figure out what our process is, so that if we decide that we want to go full-fledged into it in the future, that we have the process to do so.
So when we have wrestling tournaments that are not, you know, sanctioned by, you know, like a youth wrestling. Yeah. Would that help?
I mean,
Would that be part of it?
technically we could, but we don't have to. So I guess I mean,
Really what this does is it gives us the ability to use it. We don't have to use it.
Yes.
People don't have to use it, but they can if they want to.
But if
No,
we don't do it, then we're not gonna raise the dollar.
No, we're still gonna raise the dollar because that's what the conference.
The
is gonna
conference
do.
is most likely going to vote for that,
Mhm.
for the increase regardless if we approve this or not. That was just their rationale for doing it, but I believe we're one of the only schools that doesn't use the online ticketing currently.
So if we go with this and I decide to buy my ticket with cash, the school makes $1 more than with the,
Yes.
if I did it online.
Yep.
But the convenience of being able to do it online and not stand in line, I think it outweighs everything.
And then you could send out some kind of flyers or something, people understand how to sign into this and stuff.
yes, with this, the package comes with basically 4 signs that you'd see that has a QR code on it that somebody would need to just hold the camera of their phone up to, that will allow them to have a link to click on. That would take them there for the events that we have on that current day. So it's as simple as holding up your phone, clicking on the QR code, and then being able to select how many tickets you want.
So you wouldn't buy it like the day before or somewhere?
You can, it would be posted on our website, that we would have links to it where people would be able to navigate to and buy up to as many weeks, or let me say this, as soon as we publish our schedules, the links for tickets for that game would be published to the website.
So, yes, I know I'm asking a lot of them,
No,
but
you're good.
so if you're buying in advance and then you end up not being able to go, you're just SOL.
Nope, we can refund the tickets if somebody was able to show us that their ticket hadn't been valid. And that doesn't come as a cost to anybody, so all of those funds are completely refunded.
Use it for the next event or whatever.
Yep.
All the question.
So I've got a motion by Jim and a second by Lloyd. Any other discussion?
I called the question.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Dwayne,
Yes.
Brian, he sent a note to Craig saying he's not able to continue to join us, so. Lloyd,
Aye.
Dale,
No.
Jim,
Yes.
Rebecca, yes, Wendy, yes. 7.15. Discuss approve conference ticket price increase.
We just did.
That was the GoFan digital ticketing proposal is what we just did.
And the conference hasn't asked for this yet, but I know that they're going to, so it's like I told Corey, we might as well get it on the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Lloyd, second by Jim. Any further discussion?
Everybody thinks just gonna be $1, is that what they're?
And you were thinking just $1 for adults and students stay
The same.
the same. Dwayne,
Yes.
Lloyd,
I,
Dale,
No,
Jim,
yes,
Rebecca, yes, Wendy, yes. 7.16, discuss approved special meeting for superintendent interview process and timelines.
So we need to set a special meeting, to review process timelines. I would propose like the first week of April, like a Wednesday, when we normally do our study sessions. The difference would be that this would be an actual meeting where you can make decisions and like I said, come up with, agree on timeline, agree on how it's going to be posted, all of those things. So I have a number of different agenda items. I spoke with MSBA that we can go through at that meeting, and just have discussion. Then what we would need to do, if everyone's in agreement on that, then the next thing would be to set a special meeting for interviews. Would be the second one. So there would be 2 special meetings that we would need to have. But the first one is basically just to go through process timelines, those types of things. So I was looking at the first week in April. Thoughts?
April 3rd.
Yeah, that's a Wednesday.
I'll be
April
out
3rd?
of town.
I'll be out of town.
Okay.
That don't happen much.
I'll be in town.
How about the week before or the week after?
Tenth or
Week after is better for me.
After work's better.
We could do the 10th.
Yeah, well,
Would that work for everyone?
mhm.
All right, I'll send that out. If it didn't work, let me know, but tentatively, we'll look at, April 10th as our
6 p.m.
6 p.m. work, or do you want
No, I like
6?
6.
All right, 6 o'clock.
Okay.
So we would just need to approve then, I believe, the 6 o'clock special meeting on April 10th.
I'll move to approve it.
I'll second.
Motion by Jim, second by Rebecca. Any discussion? Dwayne, Lloyd, Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes,
Rebecca,
Yes,
and Wendy's a yes. 7.17, discuss policy updates.
I know we haven't done those in a while, so I want to send a new batch. Get back on track with that. I know with the legislative session, there's certainly going to be some things. I know the SRO. They just passed that updated law, so a lot of those things. So I just wanted to make you aware that that was going to be coming. So look for those upcoming policies to review. So we would review them one meeting and then the following meeting we would approve. That work? Okay.
7.18, student council report.
Yeah, I didn't have I got an email that there was just a couple things they couldn't be here tonight, but pancake breakfast, they're gonna have a pancake breakfast April 7th. At the Dodge Center City Hall from 9 a.m. to noon. With proceeds going to the Relay for Life. And then they're also planning some activities for Teacher Appreciation Week. So that was kind of, they just wanted me to go over those 2 things.
All right, Zed report.
We have a meeting coming up this Thursday. The last month we, excuse me. We approved the purchase of a van, which federal special ed money was used for that. Or will be. Well, everybody knows Art Show is here. And I want to thank all those that are involved with the program beforehand, before the meeting. Yeah, that was kind of neat. Summer Academy is going to be at Cass in Manorville. The Birth to 3 is no longer, there's not gonna be, it's under a different name. It's not under the MDE.
Children, families and learning, I believe they're calling it.
Thank you. They didn't tell us what it was, but anyway. Um, And, well, one thing, and Craig mentioned it at the beginning of the meeting, or before. I don't know if you pay attention to the Z numbers. But overall, they don't maybe change a lot, but they do change from month to month, different districts. You know, a couple here, a couple there, plus or minus. But we have, you know, some time ago, we used to be one of the higher usage districts. Well, and there was a difference. Last month, we were fourth. This month, we're fifth. There's only one district that below us as far as usage. It's
That probably is because of Pine Island, isn't it?
no.
No, it's just the actual number of students that we have that are using Z used to be very, and I'll just
Are you
give you,
saying just us, or are you saying that Zed is club? Yeah.
just us.
Okay.
Yeah, at one point, we were probably, when you look at, and I'll send that in my update, and I'll send it tomorrow. I was gonna send one today, but I had all the other stuff that I was sharing with you, so I'll send it tomorrow, but the number of students at the Z building, at one point, we were the highest usage district out of all 7 even, when Pine Island was part of it as well, but right now, we're 5 out of 6. And one of the biggest things that I attribute that to is the work that we're doing with students that normally would have ended up going to the ALC with some of the credit recovery things that we're doing. We're preventing those things from happening. And I know Mr. Luderman's talked about it before, but all of our seniors are on track to graduate this year. And I can remember a year when I was the principal, when I had 23 students that I met with on a regular basis. And to say that all 20, all of them are on track. I just think that the work that we're doing with credit recovery is really making a difference in helping our students. But I'll share those numbers with you in the update.
Thanks for helping on. We did approve a revised budget. They are looking at lower than usual, or they have a fund balance of about $1 million. It's about 10%, though. Usually they like to keep 15. But they're okay with that for the time being. With the building and stuff. Some before, they bought a bunch of equipment. But now they do have a fairly large restricted fund balance. That's money that can only be used for capital project. It's left over from the sale of pretty much the sale of the 2 buildings. But, and then they were, well, I don't know if he'll bring it up with the soups. They're looking for somebody to maybe partner with on their redact. They don't think they're big enough. They might have a hard time getting somebody for the training or, yeah, I don't totally understand all that, but that came up anyway. If one of the 6 districts would be interested in partnering with that. Anyway, I guess there's the spring day. I don't have a date for that.
Oh, is that activity day? I want to say April 7th.
They didn't talk about it.
No, not April 7th. That was just the date I talked about with the other.
I'll have to dig.
breakfast. I'll share that with you, but
They'll say there's.
it is in Hayfield this year. Is that activity day?
Otherwise, I guess that's all I know. Unless there's any questions.
And I shared they kind of Zed put together a rotation of schools now that there's just the 6 of us for extended school year and the Z Activity Day, because that's kind of done on a rotating basis. So they came up with a calendar for that now too, that they shared with the superintendents, and we have our meeting on Wednesday this week. Any questions on the Z? All right.
7.20 AD report.
Good evening, everybody. Busy week, but the first thing that I wanted to make sure we talk about is just BPA. As always, I think it's crazy that we send 35 students to the event and that rivals schools that are, much larger than us when we start talking about some of the largest schools in the state. And so just for us to be able to have that participation at that level is awesome. We definitely had some very competent people who were competing. Briar Quimby won the trading pin design contest, so she was a state champion in that. Corey Lillidahl was a state champion in presentation. And then Rosalind Ludall and Jade Scoville were second in the website design team. And then Noah Kleinwort, Alex Ortiz, and Quinn Short took third place in the video production team. I believe that we have one other video production team that I didn't put up on here, but we got late results today that there was an administrative issue. So we had another group that actually took first place. And so I'll make sure to be able to share that out with everybody as well. So wanted to make sure that we have it written down correctly with it too. So I think it's just, another remarkable thing that when we look at, not only did we have a bunch of people who were on national trips with the names that I shared on the previous slide, but if you look at people who placed with it, in the top 10 in the state and the number that we have participating, it's obvious that Miss Goosens does an awesome job with all of that, and it just makes me proud. And so I just want to make sure that they know that we think that they do an awesome job and are doing, their best work with that as well. And I think it's cool to see it start to translate outside of the classroom when you see some of the graphic design artwork that's done by our students. It's like, wow, you will get a job, no questions asked when you start to get into some marketing and things like that. And it's like, hands down, it's beautiful and just cool to see them put some passion into things outside the classroom with it as well.
And I would add just the sheer numbers of kids that are involved in it.
It's awesome.
It's great to see that many kids involved.
It's worth every penny we're spending to make them have that opportunity, right? Basically just have some things that I wanted to touch on. Over the last month, I've met with the activities department. We've kind of started discussing topics of a 5-year plan. And so basically what we're going to come to you with hopefully sometime in the summer is some goals that we have department wide that we can start to reach out on. Our conversations kind of started with 2 main points, and these are just kind of concepts that we want to make sure that we're touching on, but it's middle school activities and then just communicating opportunities that we have. And so we kind of feel that we need to expand some opportunities for the middle school, and then just make sure that we can put events or dates in there to make sure that people in the community know about what we offer here, because we definitely do offer a lot. And so we just want to make sure that everybody knows about everything that we're doing. We're starting to rediscuss our strength and speed training program and just kind of remarketing that as well. I believe that by the next board meeting, you'll see us have a public meeting where we're trying to bring the public in to be able to give them some information on what specific changes we're making and how we can kind of find more continuity with that. And we put a lot of effort into that, and we have a lot of kids who are very passionate about it. So we just want to make sure that everybody's working in the same direction so we can get growth from everybody instead of having everybody kind of pull on the rope in a different direction. We had spring sports registration and kickoff. I think that was awesome. There were more people there on that Tuesday night or Monday night, excuse me, than I've seen in my 3 years in the spring. So that was awesome. And just wanted to say thank you to the student section. I think if you think back to the girls basketball game that we hosted on February 22nd, we had over 100 kids in the stands. I think we purchased 96 white shirts for them to create a design on it. And I think I have about 7 or 8 left in my office. So it's awesome to see them kind of take part in that. It's amazing what, a bunch of pizzas and a little activity will do for some teenagers, right? So definitely learned some lessons with that as well. One other thing I wanted to make sure that we pointed out on here too is just the musical. The musical is coming up. It's April 4th, 5th, and 6th. And so you'll definitely want to be able to see that if you've been able to kind of sneak peeks in at their practices and their rehearsals. And it's not only a beautiful set that they've created, but it's a good story that they've been able to kind of build around as well. Thanks, Craig. The last thing I want to make sure that we recognize is just our girls basketball program. On the left is all of the records that they broke and set for this year. And so if we look at, we count them all, single game points with 87 points against Lewis and Altura, single game offensive rebounds against Cannon Falls, assists against Medford, steals against St. Charles, single season wins. They posted 17 wins this year, which beat the previous record of 16 during the 1999-2000 season. And then the points scored, 3-pointers made, single season steals. But I think that it's just something that I'm really proud of, a bunch of growth within that program. And I think that the confidence that you see from that group is amazing. And it's really fun to watch and see them walk around school with their heads held high and know that they're believing in themselves. And number one, I think that's really important and fun to see. And I think that they've got a long way that they can improve and continue to grow as the years come up. So perfect. I believe that's all I have for tonight. So any questions?
Corey?
Thank you.
Only other thing too is I can give you guys some more information about the GoFan stuff, just so that you have a few videos and things like that, but I think can clear up some of those questions and things like that too. So
One other thing too, we've been able to finalize those storage units for that storage area, so we will be getting that done this summer.
perfect. Thanks, Ray.
Yep. Principals report.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I was thinking maybe we should have walked up and stepped together or something.
Zed Activity Day will be May 10th,
May 10th.
May
Okay.
10th for Zed Activity Day of this year. Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
All right, we can go on to the next slide there, Mr. Schlichting. Thank you very much. We wanted to start tonight just by saying a thank you to some of the folks around Triton and celebrate some of the good things going on. If you remember at the beginning of the board meeting tonight, Mr. Schlichting said the Cobra Pride we'd implement into our presentation here. So that's what we have for you here tonight, folks. So we'll start on the top left and work our way around. You probably know a few of those folks on the top left. You recognize them. If you don't know that venue, that is the bus garage. If you haven't been out there, it is an interesting and fun place. Mr. Van Beek and I have spent some time out there this school year, but a week and a half to 2 weeks ago was school transportation appreciation week. So a number of those folks do great work to not only make sure our kids arrive for school on time and safe at home, but many times they are the first point of contact for our students and the last point of contact during their school day. So this group continues to do an outstanding job. The next one there is our BPA group. I know we've talked about it a little bit tonight, but felt like it was important enough to make sure and include that in our presentation here tonight too. The one thing, obviously, you see them with trophies and awards. The fun part and working in a school is to see what goes on behind the scenes with these kids and these advisors to work hard toward a goal and to accomplish it. It makes me extremely proud to be an administrator here to see the great work this group has done.
Jumping down to the bottom left, a few weeks ago, we had an event that Tara Bradford put together that we call Rules and Reading. And we had over 100 families came in for breakfast to have breakfast with their student. And we had books out and they took the opportunity to read some books with their kids. It was a great showing. And another thing that really jumps out, and not only in the pictures, but when you walk around the cafeteria that day, is the amount of our staff that have kids that go to this school. I think we've definitely increased that in the last 10 years, and it's great to see.
We've had a number of those morning different names for different things, but it literally is the most people I've ever seen for a morning activity in the gym. And not only was it the fullest I've ever seen it, I actually saw most of the parents had got a book from the rack and were reading with their kids at the table. it was a really cool event. Very well done.
And I know I've shouted out Tara Bradford before, but I think I'll take this opportunity to do it again. With the I Love to Read month, she was part of the committee. And she kind of took the lead later in the presentation. There's pictures of, we had authors coming in. We had events going on in the library. Our book fair was an overwhelming success. We had book fair bingo, all these things around I Love to Read was done very well this past year in the elementary school. Continuing on the bottom, our academic triathlon teams continue to have great success. Mr. Anderson running that program, and I believe that we had a couple middle school teams that have won some championships. Did they win every one of the tournaments they were in this year?
We took first at all but one.
So that program kind of revitalized the last couple of years, and we're doing very well in that.
So Mr. Anderson, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the groups took first at a regional and would have qualified to state. Do you want to just explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So this year is the first year back, from kind of like the lack of programming for academic triathlon. Last year we just had 2 practice meets. Unfortunately, Zed is the only, education district running academic triathlon. Otherwise, we would have advanced, to state. Also point out our 6th grade team took first place, by a long shot. They smoked everyone else out the water. Our 8th grade team, they got second, but technically they tied with first. They went into a very close tiebreaker. So both teams did extremely well. And then another fun fact is for our other teams, every team took at least 3rd or higher in one of like the events that makes up the grade event. So.
Moving around the circle, we've got a picture of dodgeball perhaps.
Yeah, that is our middle school teen group that had a dodgeball tournament after school a couple of weeks ago. I know the picture is a little bit small, but the victorious team in the back, you can all tell they're wearing a jersey. The middle school staff team did win the dodgeball tournament, so I wanted to make sure and mention that tonight as well.
And the last one in the upper right-hand corner, and we talk about a lot. One of the many amazing things around Triton is the ability to have our older kids working with our younger kids. And through activities like reading buddies, big brothers, big sisters, TAing. We have a couple high schoolers that are actually working at the end of the day in the elementary school. We have individuals that help out with recess. We have students that are just hanging out down there with kids at different times. It's one of the greatest things that we're able to offer. And it's not only good for our little Cobras that are looking up to the older ones, but it's really neat to see all the kids down there working as high school kids with the young kids. We have a lot of people right now in the senior class that are going into elementary education. And I like to think some of that kind of got sparked in some of the opportunities they had down in the elementary school. I know looking at the picture of the girls' basketball team, I want to say there's 4 of those young ladies that are going to Mankato for elementary education, if I remember senior night correctly. So a lot of good things taking place here at Triton Public Schools.
And of course, the Zed Traveling Art Show, we had a little presentation here tonight on that, so wanted to thank those folks, the art instructors and students for their participation in that as well.
And then do you have anything on the young authors? All those high school kids, the most?
I do not at the current time.
Okay. I'll talk about it again, but I want to take a picture. Last Friday, we had our fund run. Happened in the elementary gym. They turn off the lights, they get things glowing, music rocking, and that capped off a great week of fundraising in the elementary school. It was the 2nd year that we did it. Last year, we raised money. We purchased those musical instruments and sensory items for the playground. This year, we're looking to put money towards some technology in the classrooms, including smart boards for some of our grade levels that are utilizing that. We raised over $7,000. The goal was $6,000. And as a result of hitting their goal, this Wednesday morning at about 8:05 Central Standard Time, I am getting slimed by 19 chosen students. Each one of our homerooms or each one of our classrooms.
What was that time?
8:10.
How many pounds of slime did they order?
Whitney has 25 pounds of slime.
25 pounds of slime she's ordered.
we
You
have,
need board participation in that?
what's that?
You need board
It'll be
participation.
live
in
streamed.
that?
You're all welcome to attend, and if we could make it probably a 20th gallon of it for you as well, so you can slide the elementary principal. Upper right hand, that was a picture of the author visits. Not only did the authors come, and there was 3 separate authors that came, but they also had an opportunity to sell. They sent home stuff if anyone wanted to buy their books. Mrs. Bradford said that our students bought over 100 books from these 3 different authors, so they took something from the speeches and then they wanted to read the books. And then on the bottom there, it's out in the nature center, and it's our 3rd graders. They took some time out there to make some outdoor shelters, again, along with high school kids. That was a highlight of a lot of those kids' week there.
That's our nature center.
That's a nature center.
Here.
What do I call it?
Yeah, it's what you know.
All right, yeah, we were talking about the same thing, just in a different way. I want to make sure and recognize our students here. We had a number that participated in the writing contest at Zed. Just kind of a highlight for Triton here. If you see, we had the most submissions of any school in Zed this year, and the most award recipients as well. And we had 1 exemplary, that's Miss Tushhouse there. She's a junior there, and there were a total of 2. And we had 1 of those here at Triton. So kudos to our students and staff for their great work there. A week or so ago, a number of our students participated in the small group music contest. And Mr. Black, where was that again? Can you remind me, please?
I believe he's at Alden Congress.
Alden Conger Schools, so wanted to make sure and recognize those students for the great work there. And thank our band and choir directors as well. Obviously, it takes a lot of extra time and practice, and then also you have to perform in front of a judge, right? Which is never an easy thing for the kiddos to do. And once again, you'll see a lot of ensembles and small groups and solos, so a shout out to our students and staff for making this a valuable experience there. So those are the superiors. The next page there, as you can see, they're smaller because obviously there's a lot more students that received awards in the excellent awards there. So a shout out to our students and thank them for participating and doing a great job at solo and ensemble.
We talked about the booster fundraiser. We also had our elementary conferences 2 weeks ago. We had 86% of all families show up for conferences. That's up from actually 84% this fall. That's 86% of actual bodies in the school. We were at 100% of communication with parents and at least having a phone conversation with all of our students. So spring conferences, you never know what you're going to get. But we saw a lot of good engagement out of our families this spring at Triton Elementary.
All right, Mrs. Johnson was gone for this afternoon, so we'll combine things a little bit between the middle and high school. The flex day, it's been a while since we've had a flex day. If you go back to the calendar a year ago, we did them about once a month. I believe we've only held 1 or 2 so far this year, but it's the end of the quarter. And it's midterm for us here, so we're gonna make sure and do a flex day, provide our students an opportunity to get caught up, complete a retest, a lab, etc., if they've missed that. So that flex day is usually on a Friday. Obviously, we do not have school on Friday this week. It's a work day. So our flex day will be on Thursday this week. Our conferences are approaching, so hopefully we can have a good showing, just like the elementary school for that. I believe we talked about the academic triathlon a little bit, the dodgeball. You saw the photo there, the Penny Wars. They're in the process of doing that at the middle school right now. So I'm assuming the next month she'll have an update for you on the totals there. Some events approaching, the MCAs. We started with that. Our sophomore group, we're almost completed with a reading test, our sophomores do. So they're the first group to go through that, and the students are performing exceptionally well. April the 9th, I wanted to make sure and mention that day. It's a busy day here, and our staff are going to work extremely hard. If you remember, there's a lot of things going on that day. So our freshmen, they go on a college tour. Our sophomores take the pre-ACT. Our juniors have the opportunity to take the ACT or the ASVAB, and our seniors, they come in for a CPR class. So the big thing to remember about that day, and what I want folks to remember, is when students are finished with their particular test for that day, they are excused, okay? So I just don't want anybody to be surprised by that. Yeah, we'll never tell you you need to leave, right? We'll provide opportunities for you, and obviously if you need a ride on the school bus, but the majority of students in those grades, they work extremely hard on that. So if they need to go, they absolutely have the right to do so at that time.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Ludeman or myself?
I have one more thing real quick, Mr. Van Beek. It's not on the slide. I'm working outside of the slides tonight, sir. Graduation, May the 31st, my good friend Michelle in the office. It's the time of year where I ask, if you would like to, participate in graduation, please let me know. Is that you saying yes, or is that, I thought you had a question, okay.
No.
Yeah, and I believe it's usually 3, does that sound right?
Yep.
Mr. Schlichter?
We've done 4.
Have Lloyd, Wendy,
I'll do it if nobody else, if
Okay.
somebody else wants to. That's fine.
All right.
Like it, Brian does.
you can write down those 3, and if anybody else wants to join, just let me know. Thank you.
Superintendent's report.
Yeah, a couple things. One, Mr. Ickler mentioned to me, and I just thought I'd let you know that the lettuce that they did, the first harvest was 15 pounds, second harvest 33 pounds. They are looking at actually doing something different next year because they are supplying that lettuce to the school, so we know when harvest is because you get the fresh lettuce in the lunchroom, which is awesome. But they're actually looking at doing strawberries next year. A little bit better profit margin with strawberries, so keep your eyes out for some strawberries. Yeah, it's awesome to see the way they have that room set up. It is certainly a great learning experience for those students with the hydroponics that we have going on in there. Infinite Campus, I just wanted to update you. We've added now, we will have online registration ability. So if you've ever filled out those little cards in the past, you can do it online now and update it online. So we're looking to use that for kindergarten registration this year. So we're hoping to have that up and running here in the next couple weeks. We have a number of meetings.
Live Thursday.
Live Thursday. All right. Pre-K update. I just wanted to let you know that open registration started on Friday. If you remember, our total number of pre-K students this year was 60. We're already at 63. And that's with 2 days worth of registration. So Christy said that there's numerous phone calls coming in. And usually she said that during the summer months, you get a large influx as well. So definitely anticipating that that's going to help us. That's going to get our numbers up. So pretty excited about that. CISO, I got the final report. I'll be meeting with them on March 26th. That's in regard to our Spanish immersion program. So I'll have some updates coming up with that. Also just wanted to let you know that they did pass the SRO update for law enforcement. And one of the most unique things that I've noticed about it is that and it will be interesting because SROs need to be contracted, not considered employees of the district, which is kind of a different way of looking at it when it comes to data privacy. So there's still going to be some things that need to get worked out with that, because typically SROs have had access to those kinds of things. So we're going to have to learn more about that. But the good news is that they've changed it so they can actually be law enforcement officers in the building if they need to be. And then lastly, just a reminder, Business Expo is this Saturday, the 23rd. So if any of you want to join me in the booth, I'll be there. Any questions?
What time?
I think it's 8 to 2.
8.
Yep.
Yeah, any other?
I neglected to bring this up before, but we were gonna maybe try and have a meeting to go over, just a review of Craig's.
Like a performance review?
Yeah, or discussion or whatever. I guess it's been 2 years since we had one. But we have to. Yeah, formally set a meeting, yeah. Right. We can't just. Do it. I didn't know if we piggybacked on the other, but then since that's I don't know how much time.
I can certainly check into it.
Yeah.
If you wanna do that.
On the 10th,
Mhm.
Okay.
I'll keep you posted.
okay. Anything else?
To adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Jim, second by Dwayne. All in favor?
No, get well, he's not.
He's not on.
He's
so-
not on, so, okay. Meeting adjourned.
This.